What's up, VC? Good afternoon. Just having some coffee. I'm just gonna. I thought I would talk about the Tone Poet series versus the classic series. Like, why don't they just do them all like the Tone Poet series? I'm chime in on this one with me. Throw some comments if you feel like it. I love that they have both, um, but I love the gatefold of the Tone Poet. I wish I could have liked the real McCoy Tyner album. That would have been fun to have on the Tone Poet series. I feel like they sound equally as good. They're both mastered or whatever by Kevin Gray or the other guy that I noticed that's on some of them. Um, but I almost feel like though. So I have a good stack of the Tone Poet series. I don't have every single one of them that's come out, but I have all the ones that I like to listen to. And but the classic series are the one that's not. Let's just say classic series 80. There's like a few different type of stickers that comes on them, but they're all not a gatefold. You guys probably know more detail about the difference than I do. Throw a comment. Um, I feel like though, I was thinking about it. The classic series, I feel like it's putting out more heavy hitters. Now, that's always a preference, but like, why wasn't McCoy Tyner's or like Eric Doffy's Out for Lunch or just there's some real distinct ones here. I'm gonna just forget the name off the top of my hand. The Sidewinder, Lee Morgan. Even Herbie Hancock's Taken Off. Um, those are all other really great albums that, again, I'm just kind of, these are just like ramblings. Um, so either way, they're obviously equally as good. It just depends what you like. But it's interesting. I don't know who I wonder how they decide what they're going to reissue on the Tone Poet versus the other stuff. Um, but that being said, some of my favorite tone. So, I love the Tina Brooks. My first Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers was my first Tone Poet. My second one was the Bobby Hutcherson, and I both really good, but I like the Bobby Hutcherson one a little bit more musically. It just gets to me. That album's totally spaced out, weird. The vibraphones I love. What's weird, when I was younger, I didn't like the vibraphones as much. Well, I think I liked them. Like, I got to see Pat Metheny with Gary Burton, and what the sad thing is, I was just really focusing on Pat Metheny the whole show. I regret that. I wish I would have focused on just more of everything, but that's how it is when you're a young guitar player. But either way, this is just stuff rambling. Now, the Tone Poet series that I was the most excited about coming out that I knew it in advance was, I'm a huge Pat Metheny fan. I'm a huge everything fan, but Pat Metheny, I feel like he not only does he have the chops, which he doesn't care about really showcasing, he's just a great music composer. And that's, to me, what's special and unique about him. Doesn't mean he's better than a different musician. That's just, I think, his secret weapon is he just composes some very interesting stuff. So when I wish they would have. Now, this isn't my favorite Pat Metheny work, but when I heard, back before this came out, they're like, oh, this Pat Metheny album. I was like, oh, hell yeah. I mean, it's John Scofield anyway, so this is a really good record. This album's super good. If you don't have this on the Tone Poet series, give it a listen and see what you think. If you like it, obviously go get it. It's a double LP. Some songs are written by Metheny, some are by Scofield. It's a phenomenal album. But anyways, I'm kind of going, again, these are just ramblings as a vinyl junkie here. But, so like these last two Tone Poet series, I listened to them, and again, if I had an infinite amount of money, I would just go get all this stuff because it's all amazing and it all sounds great. It just depends what mood you're in, really. So right now I'm budgetizing what I have to what I know I'm going to want to listen to the most. The new two, there's a few out right now that I want. There's like 5 out that I want right now. So I'm not trying to get all 5. But so far, just what I previewed, they're good. They're really good. But I have not I need to run to the record store good for me yet. But I definitely, again, if like I said, had a bigger budget, just get all this stuff. It's all great. But neither of these people I had really heard of. I'm sure the musicians on the records I've heard of, but on the albums I've heard of. But anyways, again, I only listened to a couple songs in each one, and they were good. I like if it starts off with like some slow jazz right off the back, and it usually sucks me in. And like he like this Mingus, I had never heard this before, but they had mentioned they're gonna redo it on Acoustic Sounds apparently. I got this copy. This copy sounds really good, and it was a cheap copy. It was new, but a reissue of some company I've never heard of. This album kicks butt. If it comes out of the gate like a detective melody, like when the detective finally gets the chick that killed her boyfriend by having in the sack, she just took him out, and then she ends up with a cop at the end of the movie. They play that melody. It's very common. It starts off kind of like that, but then it just goes in some crazy shit. It's badass. Then you get to side two. There's like nylon string. There's like flamenco guitar mixed in with the jazz, and it works really good. And I haven't really heard too many other jazz albums. I've heard jazz albums with guitar, with nylon string guitar, but I haven't heard a jazz record that has like some flamenco guitar riff, like just some Spanish guitar type stuff all of a sudden mixed with the jazz. This thing just has like weird horn melodies coming out of nowhere. Horn sounds. There's this one guy that influenced Zappa. Gosh, I forget his name right now. It was one of the first albums Frank Zappa got that like inspired him to do weird shit. Or I don't think inspired him to compose weird stuff, but it was the first. Edward Versace, I think his name. Versace, I can't remember his name. Versace, I think. Anyways, it has tidbits of that. Where even they'll stop and just like a flute ringing a weird note for a while. And then the piano on this is really good. And again, this episode's all over the place. It's how it goes if you guys are watching it. Cheers. This is this stuff that's, I've been listening to records. I figure, instead of holding these thoughts on my brain, I'm just going to film them and send them off into the YouTube VC world. Thank you for watching. I would crank it up louder, but sometimes some of the stuff I have doesn't show up in the feed because of copyright issues or whatever. I'm trying to figure that out. I see some people play stuff and get away with it. I don't. I'm still trying to figure that one out, and again, hence why it's a low budget record channel. I don't know if you know I switched light bulbs. Let's see, there we go. Whew, it took a second. I actually got this for a different lamp, but it was ended up being the tiny. I did not. Okay. I could return it, but I realized it actually could fit in this one, even though it doesn't look. Anyway, but it's a blue light. I like colored lights. I think it looks when I was a kid. Just reminds me of. I remember having red and blue lights. I don't know why that is. So, anyways, weird random thing I just talked about there. But now this album I got yesterday. Listened to it twice all the way through. 2.5 times. I listened to both albums and I went back to the first album again. And this is really good. You got to get if you're a jazz person, I don't think you're going to be disappointed. I think you're going to be blown away by this if you haven't heard it, because I was, and it's just really good. And don't really know too much of it. All the info's in Japanese, which I love that it is in Japanese. The song titles are at least in English. Where anyways, one song's Morning Tide, Love Talkin', Straight No Chaser, McPhee, Little Abby, Barlin. It's kind of weird how it has side A is just one whole song, okay. Side B is 2 songs. And then side C is 1 song, and side D is 2 songs. That's what I was kind of trying to see what songs are on which sides. Anyways, recorded at Victor Studio June 17th and 18th in 1970. Produced by Masaharu Hanjo. Engineering by Norio Yoshizawa. Cover photographs by Yuru Sato. Anyways, and it's got Koshuk. So Koshuk Mine, I thought the album is called First. The artist's name is Koshuk Mine, and I didn't. Okay, I'm like totally reading this out of screen here. Sorry, guys. But it's Koshuk Mine on alto sax, Masabumi Kikuchi on electric piano, Larry Ridley on bass, and Lenny McBrown on drums. So, 4-piece. Let's see. Don't want to mess up the OBI thing, but there's the gatefold. Cool picture of the band. What's up? This was a little. It's $39 to get this, so this was a little pricey, but it's a double LP. It's on 45 RPM. Super high quality. The edges of the it's pressed in the Palace Group in Germany. The edges of the vinyl weren't the best. I would, if I had to place them, I'd give like 6.4. I was a little disappointed. I'm starting to think that anybody in the VC knows about who might work at a pressing plant or know somebody who does. Do they give you an option when you're having these records pressed? To that's like maybe I'm wondering, does it cost extra to have the edges like smoothened? I know this might sound funny because then that would make sense why some are and some aren't. Some are smooth and some aren't. Because if it was like you're gonna get 1,000 records pressed, and then it costs a certain amount extra, it's out of your budget to have the records that high quality. But either way, maybe are they just having a lazy day at the presser place? I don't know. This Mingus. Now, like I said, it has that detective movie, like trying to solve a case vibe to it. But it's all over the map, and it's really good. It's a little bit unpredictable on when things come in. Coffee cough. I'm kind of zoning out because I'm listening to this. Like, for me, every time, this is why I think it's important you listen to the record a lot. Just repeat cycle here, not like back to back, but just really dig in it. Get into this record, really examine every square inch of it, because it's like looking at a painting over and over. You're gonna notice things, and it's the same with even a movie. In the movie's art, a good movie. If you watch a movie multiple times, you'll start to notice things in it that are more important that you didn't really realize before. And I feel like that is with music. And music, it evolves more because I feel like the way your mind and your heart evolves, your ears hear things differently. You know what I mean? And I feel like as you evolve as a better person, it's just more knowing and more loving and all that good spiritual stuff. Your ears evolve in a good way. And so, and hopefully, hopefully I'm probably a total weirdo, but who knows? Are you? I think we're all weirdos a little bit. So, so far every day I've heard this, I hear something new. Because there's so much going on this Mingus album. And that's pretty much with all good records. I think that's what's unique about jazz, when there's a lot of instruments and you got the big band jazz format. Or even like just any big, with lots of stuff going on. Like even like why, Pink Floyd albums are so awesome. You can hear that shit all the time and you hear something new, interesting. Well, now, for Animals, every time we would hear that dog barking on Animals when we were young kids, and we would just, we would trip out on that. There might have been more reasons why we were over tripping out on that, but it's just, and then we would start analyzing, is that a real dog bark, or is that like, because then it goes in the sound alters, and it's just a synthesizer. So we're like, probably a actual dog bark recorded in the synthesizer. Maybe not. Maybe we had a debate about, is it just a synthesizer that sounds exactly like a dog bark, and then you're just tripping balls so hard you can't tell the difference? I don't know. Oh, coffee burp. Hashtag it. All right. Again, these are just ramblings from a vinyl junkie's brain. But when there's so much stuff going on and it's all connected, you're just gonna pick out different things at different times. What's a song? It's McCoy Tyner's Contemplation. That song's fucking crazy good. And no, let me make sure that's McCoy Tyner here for a second, not a. Yes, Contemplation. second last song on the first side, second song. Now this whole album's good, but gosh damn, that is crazy good. That song just gets to you. So that's what I think. And so like now heavy metal, I feel like you get the whole package real quick. So which isn't a bad thing. And sometimes you'll hear little different parts maybe, but if there's only just two guitars, a bass, and they're all doing relatively the same thing, there's not too much new to discover. Now, there's nothing wrong. I love freaking metal, and sometimes you will, and it just depends. But I love all music. Last night I ended up on thrash, Exhorder, and okay, that Exhorder album, you got. There's definitely Pantera definitely got influenced by them. Now, I feel like the biggest difference was that band, Exhorder, didn't have Dimebag Darrell and Vinnie Paul and Rex, so it was like doing very similar styles phrasing on the rhythms and even the vocal patterns but you had way better musicians. I don't like to use the word better, but Vinny and Dimebag were like little kid prodigies. So they're like those Nickel Creek. They were like little kids ripping at a very young age. You know what I mean? Even though Vinnie Paul was a little older than Dime, they were both like prodigies. They were playing music since they were little kids. So yeah, I mean, that's a, and but that album's killer. So my point is, and then I think I went back to jazz, but I feel like jazz, there's a few more things that are hidden that you'll kind of hear later on, even though you hear it all at once, obviously. Now, if you got some crazy metal band with a symphony, I mean, like, all right, Tool, that's a band that you're gonna hear something different than other times, because Tool, you're gonna zone in on different parts. Tool's a good, if somebody was gonna be like, oh, there's not that much going on sometimes in certain metal. Well, Tool's technically a metal band, you know what I mean? Whatever, you can sneak them in there. So either way, we just went all over the map here today. This is a long episode. I'm drinking coffee. I was just going to be like Tone Poet versus the classic series, because that was what this whole the Pandora's box just opened up and it was over. My dog's like, sorry. My dog's apologizing. She's like, this is what I have to deal with all the time. Totally kidding. All right, guys. That's my ramblings. I mean, we're just going to let it go here. A couple sips left. But I was supposed to play a show last night, a solo show. I do these solo shows at these little restaurant bar spots every now and then. I'm trying to do it more often if I can, because I love doing it, but it just depends if I'm playing a show with someone else or not. I show up, not that you even need to know any of this, but I'm rambling here. I get there and they usually have a little chalk sign on their sidewalk showing which artist is playing that night, and my name was on the board. So I was like, oh damn it, they double booked. Super disappointing. But you can't, you gotta, the way you react to things is how you get through in life. So I just went and talked to the manager, who I know very well, and he was totally apologizing to make up for it. Kicked me down a full dinner and everything that night, so I had a killer steak dinner. Basically, I ate as much food as I would have got probably paid for the gig anyways. Almost had one of my friends who was on in the area came up the bar, did a shot of Jameson together. So my point is, when sometimes things don't work out, it still was a great evening. So before you react, stop and think. People are like, we learned this in first grade, Ty. All right, yes, we're at 19 minutes. All right, guys, stay positive, play lots of vinyl, like and subscribe to my channel if you enjoy listening to these ramblings. Some of my episodes will be shorter. This is just a long one because I'm just all over the map here. Go check out all the other channels that we see. There's like the hierarchy. We pretty much have some of the OGs at the top, and then and then down here, over here, we got LBVC, Low Budget Vinyl Channel. Okay, I'm totally kidding. We got. It's neat to see these channels growing and getting bigger, and literally, and even the new subscribers I get randomly every now and then is super awesome. So it's I mean, it's hella cool. Some of these people have been in the game for a while though, so don't get discouraged. Don't ever. One of these the people who's like an entrepreneur always said, don't ever worry about the numbers. Just do it because you love it and enjoy it. And then, if you do it for 10 years straight, you're probably going to have a little bit of a following. You know what I mean? That's just how things go. That's how a band goes. You know what I mean? If you do a band for 1 year, it just depends where you're at. If you have a good team behind you and you promote and you do some stuff, you get some chatter after 1 year. But after 10 years of being on the road and duking it out and just loving what you do, you're going to have a little bit of a crew around you. You know what I mean? That's how it is with anything in life. So to the veterans that have been in there, right on. Thank you, VC veterans, because you've paved the way to help other people get inspired to want to come out here and talk about vinyl, which I literally didn't even realize this existed 8 months ago. You know what I mean? Like, somehow my algorithm must have heard me talking about records, which is weird because I've been collecting records for more than half my life. So, and all of a sudden, I seen, I want to say one of the first 2 videos that came through was either Noble Records or Frank 33 RPM. I think it was 33 RPM came first. I clicked on one of his videos. I was like, oh, so he's talking about vinyl, right on. And then Noble Records, and then and then there was a few other started popping through. So anyways, there's a convention. I don't know if it already happened, a vinyl convention in Austin. I live near Austin, so I didn't go to. I don't know if it already happened. I really that being close to Record Store Day and already all this stuff that's coming out. There's no way I can afford to go to it, and it would be fun just to go look, but that's like pure torture. Even if you gotta go. If I'm gonna go to a convention, you gotta go there at least with a couple hundy. Come on now. I mean, and if not $20, whatever you can go there with, go there. Oh gosh, that would be. All right, there's a great thing in knowing a little bit about, every one of us knows, once you've been collecting for a while, you know a little bit about music. So you can pretty much, you could do a lap around any store, and you're going to, if somebody just said, all right, here's a card, go get, magically it's on me. You know what I mean? And you're like, you're going to go do a few laps, you're going to find a bunch of killer stuff to get. It's just, you know what I mean? It's impossible for anybody that knows about once you've been in the game for a while, especially with all the stuff that's coming out. What's crazy, and my coffee's almost done here, guys. What's crazy is, not that long ago, you could do a few laps around the store and you would still find some goodies. But it's not like today. Today, you do a few laps around the store and, you can have a good, even if you're not trying to. Just grazing, you're gonna find all kinds of good stuff now, which is awesome. So, I think the point I'm making is there's more temptation out there now. You know what I mean? Before it was like, oh, I gotta put 3 back. Now you're like having to put 30 back. and again, I'm fine with that. Though I think it's awesome. All right, guys, my dog is literally with her body on the bed, and she's with her head on my knee, looking up at me. This episode's way too long. All right, guys. Laters. Play that vinyl. See you next time. Bye.